In AspDotNetStorefront, there are three different types of front-end pages. Topics for content pages managed through the admin console, XML packages for site navigation, entity pages, like categories, and product pages, form pages, like account, and checkout. Regardless of the page type, the content is being output through the content placeholder and the master template for the skin that you've assigned to your store. In this video series, we'll take a look at the three main types of front-end pages: topics, XML packages, and form pages. Let's take a look at the app templates folder and the master template. So here I am in Visual Studio, and I have my AspDotNet Storefront web open in my Solution Explorer. So here I am at the app templates folder, and in app templates you will see admin_default, and you'll see a number of skins. Now the admin default is the skin for the admin console. Skin 1 is the default out-of-the-box skin, and that is the skin that people most often use. Skin 2 is reserved for the mobile skin. So in Skin 1, in the app templates directory, you will find an XML packages folder. This XML packages folder is for XML packages specific to the skin. So any XML packages that are just for Skin 1 you'll find in here, and there just happens to be one, and that's the entity menu that you'll see displayed on the front end of your site. Now, if you have an XML package in here, named the same as something out in the root XML packages folder, such as entity.grid.xml.config, the XML packages folder in here will take precedence. So if you want to have, and this is especially helpful for multi-store, if you want to have an XML package that's just a little bit different than the root XML package, and you want to have it be the same name, then you can put it in here, and the skin XML packages folder will take precedence for that XML package. But don't get confused, because it doesn't mean that XML packages have to be in this folder for the skin, because any XML package that's out in the root will run correctly. Another thing you'll see in the Skin 1's folder is a set of empty.master, empty2.master, and express template.master. Now these, in most cases, aren't used. You probably never end up touching these. I'm going to skip the style sheets just for a minute and head down to template.master. Template.master is the master template for the entire skin. So this will contain your header, your footer, and the layout for your site. And back up to these style sheets, phone style, receipt style.css. You'll see that these style sheets are specific to one thing or one page. We'll talk about it a little bit later in when I cover the app themes directory. But these are put here because they're referenced directly, and the skins in the app themes directory get pulled in automatically. So they're put here so that they don't get pulled into the global template. StyleGuide.htm, you can get to that from the URL. And the style guide, what it has is a basically a guide for creating things like the grid system and a different layout. And you can take a look and you can copy some things there. So let's dive into the master template. Let me close my Solution Explorer. So in the master template, the first thing that you'll see at the very top is the master page declaration. You'll see that it inherits from AspDotNetStorefront.master page base, and if you're super curious, if you go to app code, there is actually a master page base.cs class. I'm not going to take a look at that today, but that's something to look at if you're curious of some of the code behind functionality for the master template. So Underneath that, you'll see a bunch of namespaces being registered for controls. And you'll see that we're importing the namespace for AspDotNetStorefront core, which is our set of core libraries. Beneath that, all of a sudden it starts looking like a regular HTML file. If it looks like an HTML file to you, that's because for the most part it is. When it gets returned from the server and it's viewed on the client, it is an HTML file. In the master template, you'll see that the head tag has run at server on it. That is so that it could be accessed in the code behind. You will also see that there is a meta tag, a set of meta tags, and they're all empty. If you're into SEO, that might concern you. You might go, oh wow, you know, that's not cool. We need a title and we need descriptions. Well, the cool thing is that server side, we go ahead and we get a hold of those and we automatically populate them. And you can edit the default meta tags, and you can edit the default title in the admin console in configuration. And for every specific page, whether it's a topic, an entity, or a product, you can go in there and edit the meta description and the meta keywords for that page. So you can do SEO optimization in the admin console. There is a jQuery include here, and the namespace is alias to avoid conflicts with existing jQuery versions, and that's quite the case in a lot of sites that have been around for a while and have been upgraded. And there's also a namespace here for ADNSF XML package, and if you scroll up to the top, you can see that that is referencing the XML package control. You'll see that quite a bit in this page and other ASPX pages that are using that control. And what that does is it goes and it runs the XML package in this exact spot on the page for the package that is named here, and that just happens to be script.headclose. And if I go out to my Solution Explorer in the XML packages directory, what that ends up looking like is script.headclose. It is a nifty little, let me get back to it. It is a nifty little XML package that's been put in place mostly for Google Analytics and remarketing. But you can use this to put in any sort of tracking script that you need, or any sort of script that needs an awareness of what page that you're on right now. There's some logic in here for page type. So you can tell if I'm on the home page, or I'm on the shopping cart page, or a product page. So useful information and very handy for scripts, especially scripts that need to be at the head close tag. And there is also a matching XML package down at the bottom for script.bodyclose. Very handy to put your scripts in, especially if you need to put dynamic information into those scripts. So if we just go from top to bottom here, I will show you a couple of things. This is where the script manager renders out if that specific page says that it requires a script manager. And then we get into the structure of the site. So there is a wrapper around the header, there is a wrapper around the top nav, there's a wrapper around the breadcrumbs. This right here is a reference to the search control that lives out in the Solution Explorer. If we go here, the controls directory. And search.astx. So if you wanted to edit the search control or its functionality, you would do so there. Another type of thing that you will see in the master template is going to be tokens. So if you see a literal or a label or anything else that in its text, you see the server tag that says tokens. You'll see string resource is one type and app config is one type. The string resource will output the string for menu.home, and this app config will go ahead and get a hold of the configuration parameter value for the breadcrumb separator, and this is for breadcrumbs. And in this literal here, the section title is being written out for each page. Each page has a special title. Those also can be edited in string resources. So if I am on the shopping cart page, This breadcrumb will say home, it'll have the breadcrumb separator based on this app config, and it'll output the section title. And we get into the body, and here's the most important thing to know about on the page, is the content placeholder. This is where the page content will be output. Now in the beginning overview, I talked about there are 3 different types of front-end pages. There are topics, XML packages, and forms pages. So regardless of this page type, it will be rendered out in the same spot. So anything in your site layout that you want around the content should be in this master template. Everything else will have to be done on a page-by-page basis. You'll see another tag here is topic. Later on, I will talk about topics and there's 2 different kinds of topics. One is for a page, and another type of topic is for a content placeholder. And what this is a content placeholder. If you went into topics in the admin console, you would see template.vertical navigation is a topic in there, and there's HTML in that topic. And that way, after a site is up and running and deployed, those content placeholders can be easily managed in the admin console without having to redeploy content up to the server. It's all managed in topics, and they all live in the database. Same thing for the footer, and same thing for the subfooter. So here we are back in the Solution Explorer, and we already took a look at app templates, so now we're going to take a look at app themes. So here I am in app themes, and this looks probably a bit familiar to you after we looked at app templates. It has the exact same structure. That is because for whatever skin your store is assigned to, it will pull in the app templates and the app themes for that specific store. Admin default is always for the admin console. So let's take a look at skin 1 again. So in skin 1, you will see a set of style sheets. If you are on a version earlier than 9.4.1, you're not going to see base.css. What base.css is for is previously in the legacy HTML code, a lot of layout on the site was handled by tables. Since we got rid of those to go along with the HTML5 principles of separation of concerns, we removed the tables for layout, and tables are only used for tables of data, but then if we're left with a bunch of divs, things are no longer laid out in the optimal way. So we have to have some CSS for that structure. So what base.css has in it is the site structure for all of those pages. It is global and it has nothing to do with any skin that you're in. So whether or not you're in skin 1 or skin 3, and skin 1 is the non-responsive and skin 3 is the responsive skin, both of those are going to have the same base.css class. Style.css is going to be the style sheet specific to the skin. It's going to have the skin layout, the global width for the site, the navigation, the colors, basically everything that has to do with the theme. So I'm not going to take too close of a look at those style sheets today, but you'll get an idea of where they're at. And in the images here, these are images that are specific to the skin. So if you are referencing an image from the style sheet, this is where you'll want it to go. There's another images directory out here in the root, and that is for global images like product images.